Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Gate Guardian Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for March 2020. Out of all the different deck requests I've gotten, this has definitely been one of the strangest ones, but it's also been one of the more fun ones to look into on how to build a deck which its main focus is to get out Gate Guardian, which is a basically 3,750 attack point monster that can only be special summoned by offering Song of the Thunder, Kazijin, and Suijin on your side of the field as tribute. So there's no real competitiveness to the deck. I think the whole part of the deck is just to see if you can successfully summon out the Gate Guardian by having all three of these monsters out on the field, and just going by the current cards we have for the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, adding those in for consistency, and just going by what I thought was the quickest way to get out the three different monsters to summon out the Gate Guardian. So let's go out and start with the deck profile. So to start off with the monsters, your main monster is Gate Guardian. I'm only running one of this card. There is another card I run in the deck that helps to search out this monster, but other than that, running any more of this would just be heavily inconsistent, aside from being inconsistent already with the deck, because like I said, it only has one main focus, and that is to summon out this giant boss monster. It has no other effect, just being a, high attack, high defense monster, and, just opening it up, I would say you want to make sure you have your setup before you even draw into this card, which, then tripping it out, your opponent could easily just, negate its summon or, stop it through other ways. They can even bottomless trap hole this card, and then, it's gone. But I think the overall fun is just being able to successfully summon out by offering those three monsters is, the Gate Guardian. It's, the combined form of all three. Definitely when I was a kid, I thought it was the coolest monster of all the different, Yu-Gi-Oh monsters at the time, just for the premise on how to set it up as well. But like I said, you just need the one, because there are other ways, which I'll get to in a bit, on how to summon out this monster. But as for the other monsters, for making the Gate Guardian, I run 3 Sangha of the Thunder. Now, the reason I'm running 3 is it's pretty easy to summon out these cards with the methods I have lined up, but also they each have a during damage calculation. If your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, you can target the attacking monster, make that target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. This card is a quick effect, and this effect can only be used once while this card is on the field. So it's not a once per turn, it's only once while this card's on the field. But then you also are able to use it for the summon of Gate Guardian, or even some other extra deck summons if you want to go for it with this card. Song of the Thunder was definitely my favorite of all the 3 monsters to summon out Gate Guardian. The other 2 being very, very cool as well. I love the color concept as well, just, going off of the Gate Guardian. But it was also the first card I ever pulled out of a booster pack, so this card always has a special place in my heart. And also, just attack stat-wise, I'd say it's the best of the other ones. Just, even Kazijin has lower attack and the same defense, so I'd say it was truly just the boss monster of the cards, also being the arms and, head for the total fusion of Gate Guardian. The next one being, I'm guessing, is the stomach, and that is Kazijin, the wind part of the Guardian, having the same exact effect as Sangha of the Thunder, the once per turn while this card's on the field. Also, all the different Gate Guardians, I'd say gets the short end of the stick, just being the stomach part of the monster, while losing his arms and legs, or he's just sticking it behind himself as the Guardian. But like I said, the same effects as Song of the Thunder, a once per turn while on the field, but lower attack stats also. Being afterwards are the legs of the Gate Guardian, and that one is Suijin. I looked all over the place for my copies of Suijin. I had playsets of Song of the Thunder and Kazijin, but I only had the one Suijin, so I had to make do with just, some other Suijin proxies. But I would say definitely my second favorite, the third being Kazijin, but still same effect, just having a higher attack stat than, Kazijin, but still lower than Sangha of the Thunder, but also having a better defense, I would say. And I always remember this being the card they took from the Gate Guardian when Joey and Yugi fought the Paradox Brothers to destroy part of it and then revive Suijin on their side of the field. Also, Suijin looks a lot different in the Gate Guardian art. It looks much more like legs. You can, obviously, I guess those are its hands, being a sort of aqua sorcerer in a way, but still very, very cool. I love the arts of all three. I'd say there's not one I generally dislike, but Song of the Thunder is still my favorite. Now, for the added backup for searching out the Gate Guardian, I am running 3 Arsenal Summoner. You add 1 card when it's flipped. So when you flip this card from being face down to face up, you add 1 card that includes Guardian in its card name from your deck to your hand. You cannot add Celtic Guardian, Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress, 1 or 2, Guardian of the Labyrinth, or the Reliable Guardian. My guess being is because the names were different in the OCG, but you're still able to search out cards like Gate Guardian, so even just running the 1, as long as you get the search successful for your Arsenal Summer, you'll have the search to go for, and potentially, if this card's still on the field, the 1 more monster to tribute off for your, Guardian monsters to get out on the field for your Gate Guardian. Now, for the easier way to summon out the different Guardian monsters for your Gate Guardian, I found the best way to go about it was for a Pendulum Engine. So I am running 3 Dragon Pit Magician and 2 Dragon Pulse Magician, being the scales for the setup being a scale 1 through 8. Also, just having the options to search these cards out with Pendulum Call, and then just Pendulum summon out the 3 Guardian monsters onto the field to use to summon out your Gate Guardian. So using Suijin, Sangha, basically if you open up the perfect hand, opening up would just be to start off with 1 Dragon Pit, 1 Dragon Pulse, the 3 Guardians, and then if the luck is with you, drawing into your Gate Guardian, you would set up your Pendulum Scale being a scale 1 and 8, the 3 Guardians being level 7, Pendulum summoning all 3 out onto the field, and honestly, these 3 on the field would probably be a lot stronger than tributing them out for 1 monster with no other effect than just needing to tribute these 3 to get it out, but that is the main purpose of the deck. Then going into your boss monster, Gate Guardian, and then using these 3 for the tribute, and potentially being able to summon them back with other spells. But I find it to be the fastest. These are the easiest scales to search off for, Pendulum Call being a 1 through 8, giving you options for some of your other monsters like Arsenal Summoner if you just want another monster on the field. But you can even bump up the Dragon Pulse. The only reason I didn't run a 3rd Dragon Pulse is because I like using Dragon Pit for the rank 7 since it's a level 7 like the other Guardian monsters. But you can shift around the numbers or even drop the number of Pendulum Call we run the deck for potentially a 3rd Dragon Pulse Magician. But that is it for the monsters, being just focused on the Guardian monsters and the main setup to summon them out. Moving on to the spells, I run 2 Tribute Doll. Now this one is just a quicker way, if you don't have the scales, to summon out one of your Guardian monsters. It cannot attack, but still set up easily on the field. You just summon out a monster. It can be Dragon Pulse, or even if you have the Arsenal Summoner on your field, to easily special summon one of the Guardian monsters, which normally would take 2 tributes, but with Tribute Doll, it's just that much easier out on the field to summon. And then to search out the Pendulum Scales and also protect them against your opponent, I run 3 Pendulum Call. You just discard 1 card to add 1 Magician Pendulum monster, with 2 of them with different names, so adding Dragon Pit and Dragon Pulse, and then your opponent can't destroy them. The worst that your opponent could potentially do after that is obviously stop the summon of your 3 Guardian monsters, but it's the risk you have to take, and we have other ways to clear out your opponent's back row in the deck also in the spell lineup. I also run 2 Mausoleum of the Emperor, just being another easy way. You don't really use life points for anything else in the deck, so paying life points to summon out the monsters is another quick way to go about it. I also run the 1 Mound of the Bound Creator. Level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. If a level 10 or higher monster on the field destroys an opponent's monster by bound, sends it to the graveyard, the player who controlled the destroyed monster takes 1,000 damage. So this is your best setup for your Gate Guardian once it's out on the field, being able to protect it with your field spell, and then just have your opponent take burn damage attack after attack with this card. I also run the 1 Terraforming, just so you can easily search out whichever of the field spells you need in the deck, but still, I would say, if you search out the 1, it means you hopefully better have your setup for the other cards also. And I also run 2 Twin Twister, just being able to clear out your opponent's back row. Like I said, Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, all biggest enemies of the Guardian deck, since your biggest play are the boss monsters you summon out. And you do want to protect your Gate Guardian and also potentially power it up. So I like 2 Power of the Guardians. Just being able to equip it onto it means your opponent won't be able to destroy it by battle. And if you have Mound of the Bound Creator on the field, you can protect it from card effects. Just having this card get stronger and stronger with each attack makes for a truly fun deck to try out. And for some of the one-ofs, I run 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Regeki, being able to clear your monsters on your opponent's field away and then hit for big numbers with the Gate Guardian, or even just the Guardian monsters if you just Pendulum Summon them out. And then, with this, or Special Summon them back, let's say if I have to discard them for a Pendulum Call, and then go with that for the play. And to finish off the spells, I run 3 Call by the Grave. Just the search for Pendulum Call is very, very important for your scales, so you don't want your opponent to Ash Blossom you. So this one definitely helps to take care of that problem. And then for the traps, just so you could always be short 1 of the Guardians. Let's say you had to get 1 out early to protect yourself against your opponent. They destroy it. And then you're 1 short when it comes to making the Gate Guardian. So 3 back to the front helps for the summon of them back onto the field. And it's a whole new monster, so if you summon them in defense, you can play the protection effect with their own effect if your opponent tries to attack into you, making their attack 0. And then use it next turn for the summon of your boss monster, Gate Guardian. And lastly, just the 1 Metaverse. We do run 2 different field spells, being able to search out a particular one with this one, and then use the Terraforming for the other search, or if you opened up the other one, depending on the play you need also. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. The extra deck is pretty generic. I just stuck to a good amount of Link 2 since it is mostly the easiest one to summon out. So 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Win the Wind Charmer, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Boral Sword Dragon, and 1 Saryuja. And with the good amount of the deck being level 7s, I'm running 2 number 11 Big Eye, just a good one to take your opponent's resources, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac, 1 number 41 Baguska, and 1 Tornado Dragon for the level 4 plays you can do with your Scales or your Arsenal Summoner also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, the biggest play to go for to summon out the Gate Guardians would be the 2 Pendulum Scales, and then having 1 of each of the Guardian monsters along with drawing into the Gate Guardian for that play. So if you open up this, or even potentially, the Pendulum Call and then another card, or something to special summon back the Guardian monsters, just being able to set up your scale, Pendulum summon out the 3 Guardians, and then tributing them for your boss monster, the Gate Guardian. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.